Hello, good people, and welcome to number 3, the third installment of my 5-minute Hawaiian extravaganza. Thanks for tuning in, and as I did last week, I'm going to answer a couple questions here that people posted in the comments. Feel free to ask questions if you want to ask questions. I don't really want to write answers, but I'm happy to answer them at the beginning of these little lesson blasts. So let's see here. Somebody said they are buying a tri-plate. I assume you mean a tricone, because of these lessons. That's terrifying. I'm happy that you are buying a tricone, if that's indeed what you mean. And he asked what kind of strings that he should buy for it. And I don't mean to be sassy, but you should buy whatever strings you want. In general, tricones thrive on the pressure that the strings put on the, there's a crossbar that straddles the 3 cones. And the pressure of the strings holds the 3 cones in place via that bar. If your strings are too light, they will not hold the cones in place properly, so you want to have heavy enough strings. I find that a set of medium gauge will do fine. I personally use a set that runs, I think you buy the set at 14 down to 59, and then I swap out the top 2 strings so that they're a 16 and an 18. Again, I use a tuning that's a low tuning, so it's going low to high DGDGBD, so I can handle thicker strings on mine. If I was doing a high bass G, like a Dobro tuning, I would use lighter strings probably. But that's what I use, is like 16 down to 59. But you should use whatever strings you're most comfortable with. Experiment, see what works, and that's all I can tell you. Okay, and then there's a question here about what mics do you like to use when recording a hollow neck tricone for an album? Now, let me tell you this. I've actually never had a hollow tricone for an album. I did not have a hollow-necked tricone until about 3 weeks ago, ever in my life. I've played them a lot, but the tricone that I used was a round neck tricone with one of those $20 nut extenders on it. That's what I played for years and years and years. And it was fine. I now have a hollow neck tricone. I just got a 1929 National tricone, and I love it. But I did not have it for very long. And in fact, I've never even recorded with it. So my guess is that I'm gonna like a ribbon mic. Ribbon mics are usually my preference for recording acoustic instruments. Not always, but I do love the sound of a good ribbon mic. So with that in mind, I might use a Coles 4038. I might use a Bear Dynamic. Is that how you say that company? I don't know, I call it Bear Dynamic. They have a mic called an M160 that I love. It's a very small but very pointed mic that's very focused in one spot. I like that mic a lot for Dobros and Nationals. So probably one of those two, or maybe an RCA 77 if one of those was kicking around. I would definitely, one of those 3 would be amazing. Okay, so hope that helped a little bit. And now let's press on to the matter at hand, which is playing some Hawaiian guitar. Let's go. Okay then, if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll try and get to them at next week or whenever, and I'll try and answer everything I can. This week I wanted to show you a tune that I play a lot with my band, the Volcano Brothers. We've been playing a lot lately. It's so much fun. This is a tune called Honolulu, How Do You Do? I learned it off of a Saul K. Bright record, which I love, and I've kind of forgotten, I guess, how his version goes exactly, and I've got my own way of playing it, which is kind of based on his version. And I'm going to show it to you because there's a lot of interesting stuff. Least of which, or most of which, or whatever of which, is the fact that a lot of Hawaiian music, most of Hawaiian music, is not played in the key that you are tuned to. So in bluegrass, for example, you tune to G and you play in G a lot. If you play in A, you stick a capo on. If you play in B flat, you stick a capo on. With Hawaiian music, you don't really use a capo that much, if at all, and you don't honestly play in G very much. So this song's in F, and I'm going to show you the chords first, which are quite simple, but also slightly unusual. They consist of F, which is at the 10th fret. That's the 1 chord. The 5 chord of the song is C. That's at the 5th fret. The 3 chord is A, and that's at the 2nd fret. The 6 chord is a D minor, which I play like this, at the 7th fret, but I'm avoiding the 2nd string, and it kind of implies a D minor chord. G, which is the 2, and back to C, which is the 5, and that's it. So it starts with 6 bars of the F chord, 3, 4, 5, 6, to the 5 chord C, to the 3 chord A, 6 chord D minor, 2 chord G, 5 chord C. That's the whole thing. F, 6 bars. 2 more, to the 5 chord C. That's the whole tune. That's what we're playing over. Now here's a couple things that you have to kind of get under your belt before you tackle this tune. One of them is a little run of the F major chord. You need to be aware of these little positions of F major in this tuning. Starting at the 3rd string, 5th fret, that's a C note, and going up from there, we've got 3rd fret of the 2nd string, 5th fret, 6th fret. That's an F major scale, part of an F major scale, starting from the 5. Also, know the F major scale on the top string from the 3rd fret, 5th fret, 6th fret is kind of a nice little thing that happens a lot in this song, up to the 7th fret. So get those 2 positions under your belt. Starting at the 5th fret, 3rd string, 2nd string, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 2nd string, 6th fret, jump down to the 3rd fret, top string, 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret. That's not the song, but get used to playing all those notes. Okay, now here's a couple other things that you need to know. We're going to do a slant this week, which is playing the top string at the 7th fret, and the slant is angling the bar back all of a sudden. This is pretty hard to do if you haven't done it before. If you have done it before, it's kind of a basic slant. But what you're going for is the 7th fret top string and 6th fret of the 3rd string. That's an A chord. This is also an A chord at the 2nd fret, but up there at 7 and 6, you've got another A chord. We're going to use that in this song, so you need to get that under your belt. You can really annoy your dog with that one. And then the last thing I want to show you before we get into the tune is how to make a 7th chord, or imply a 7th chord, without actually playing a full chord. So if you take a C chord at the 5th fret, that's a C major. If you want to play a C7, take the top 2 strings and bump it up 3 frets from whatever chord you're on. Those 2 strings are the key ingredients of a 7th chord. So there's C, and here's C7. Yeah. So we hit an A and an A7 in this song as well, which would be here. The exact same philosophy. You've got the A chord here, and an A7, 3 frets higher. Top 2 strings only. So we're going to be dealing with an A, an A7, an A double stop with a slant. Yeah, a lot of fun, tricky stuff. What else? Oh, a D minor chord you can also imply with the top 2 strings at the 3rd fret. There's your D minor chord. Conveniently close to an A chord, which is 2nd string, second fret, top 2 strings. That's your A chord. 1 fret up, top 2 strings only, is a D minor chord. Okay, cool. Here's how the song goes. I'll play you the whole shooting match here. This is just the first phrase of the A section of the song. It goes like this: 3, 4. Phrase number 1 starts on that F major scale that I showed you at the beginning. 3rd fret, or 3rd string, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 2nd string, 5th fret, 6th fret. That's it. Then 7th fret, top string, but do that crazy pick I showed you last week where you play all 3 strings and then move your slide off the string. And you get that little trill. Play that top note twice, down to the 6th fret, back up to the 7th. There's your first phrase. So it goes like this. Again. One more time. One fun thing to do is when you get up to that F note, which is the 6th fret, 2nd string, you can kind of dive down and then jump back up to get to that 7th fret. It's a very Hawaiian move. Let me put that into context. One more time. Okay, second phrase is the exact same thing, except we're going to end up, instead of on the 7th fret, we're going to end up on the 8th fret, which is that nifty little C7 chord. So here we start at the 5th fret, 3rd string, do the same scale up, but now hit that C7. Back a fret, and back up. That's it. So let's do those two together. Again, but go up to C this time. Oh yeah, one more time. Cool. That's the first half. Second half starts on the A double stop that I showed you. Just hit that twice, go down a fret and back up. So there it is. That's over the A chord. Now we need to go from A to D minor, so we're going to jump down to the 2nd fret, top string only, and then up to the 3rd fret, but play the top 2 strings. And there's our D minor chord that I talked about. So hit that and alternate between 3-2, 3-2, like this. So that's a whole phrase. We've got the A, again. One more time. That's a little square, so I'd end up playing it more like this. But you can work on that as you work the whole thing up. But basically it's... Then we're going to the G, and to hit a G, we know that a G is at the 5th fret, because we've talked about that a bunch of times. But you just lead up there from the 4th fret, and then 5th fret. Now do this little cool lick, which goes 5th fret, but you dive down, pull off, and then play the 2nd string open. And then go to the 2nd fret of the top string. It's awesome. Takes a bit of work. Play that twice. Then up to the 3rd fret. And then back down to the 2nd fret. And then play that 3 times in a row, alternating thumb, index, thumb. And really staccato like that. And just work your way up chromatically. And that's the whole thing. So this last phrase goes A, 2nd fret, 3rd, 4th fret to the 5th, 2, 3, and then the alternates. You got it. Here's the whole thing. Same thing again. C, down to the second, sorry, down to the A chord, second fret, third, 4 to 5, chromatics. Okay, let's do it one more time slowly and then I'll speed it up. A chord. Chromatics. There you go. Have fun with that. That's a whole bunch of really cool techniques. You can apply them all over the place, but that's a really fun little melody, and it's very sneaky the way that it navigates through those chord changes. So enjoy, have fun, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week. Leave me some comments. All right?